Hello and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. Today we're going to be doing the weekly astrological forecast for October 26th through the 30th. And I am hoping to get out a separate forecast and reading for Halloween itself, which is the 31st. So stay tuned for that. But we're going to be talking about these energies for the next however many days. It's not a full week because I dropped the ball a little bit and I didn't get it in on Sunday like I usually do. You guys know me, linear time. I'm not 100% aligned with it anymore. So it's things go and they flow the way that they do, and we just work with divine timing. And so the forecast is coming out for the 26th, and we're going to get into these energies. There's going to be a lot of information in this video. I will timestamp in the description box below the different days, so you guys can skip to a certain day if you want for the astrology of that day. I'll also timestamp where I pull the crystal card for the crystal guidance for the week, what crystals we can work with, how we can work with them, and a blessing card I'm planning to do as well for this week. So the card reading will be time-stamped as well. So go ahead and skip to whatever part you like, if you like. This is going to be a really fun and exciting week, you guys. I'm really looking forward to this. We have a lot of astrological alignments this week that are really bringing in that energy of prosperity, connecting us to our abundance, connecting us to the visions, the insights, the intuitions that are going to really help to bring that prosperity and that abundance into our lives. It's also a really powerful week for relationships. We have some really beautiful aspects that are facilitating this energy of bringing us into alignment with those relationships and those partnerships that are meant for us, and really facilitating that process of deeper levels of commitment, as well as many people I'm feeling bringing in those deep spiritual partners, whatever you want to call them, in the astral realms and possibly even in the physical, and really aligning your energy with that destined and divine partner. So that is really fun. We also have Mars moving into Scorpio this week, so lots of beautiful scorpionic energy with that sun now in Scorpio as well. Really tapping into that. If you guys haven't checked out the Scorpio season video, go ahead and do that. It is in the playlist for, I always get tripped up with the names that I made for these playlists. The Astrological Ascension Energies playlist, I believe it is. And it should be in the recent videos as well. It shouldn't be too difficult to find. So absolutely, absolutely check that out. We're going to talk about some of the more specific aspects that are really sort of overriding this week, that are going to be within range of each other throughout the week, and then we're going to start breaking down each separate day. And I am going to be reading quite a bit of this from my notes because I just wrote all of this out today in preparation for this video, and it's a lot of information, and it's just easier if I do it that way. So that's what's going to happen. All right, so throughout this week we have Mercury in a sextile to Venus and Juno. And Venus and Juno are moving towards each other. They're going to be forming an exact conjunction on the 30th. We also have a trine going on here with Jupiter. So this is a really beautiful energy. And it's definitely an energy with Mercury now moving direct. Still in shadow period until November 4th, but moving direct and having this relationship to Jupiter. It's really favoring communication. We want to be careful with this Jupiterian energy that we aren't getting carried away, right? When we are communicating, we don't want to be making promises that are more than what we can deliver, because sometimes with that expansive Jupiter energy, that is what happens. With Venus and Juno coming into conjunction, long and lasting partnership is on our minds. We may be seeking to deepen an established bond and take it to the next level, or to ignite something meaningful with somebody new, or for some people, possibly somebody old that wants to come back around, or that you're wanting and desiring to have in your life again. So we're going to be feeling very inclined to reach out, especially if people have been on our minds. And people are going to be feeling very inclined to reach out to us if we have been on theirs. There's a very positive alignment for positive messages and development concerning finances as well. So this is one of many of those aspects that we're going to be experiencing this week that is really beneficial when it comes to finances, when it comes to prosperity and money, honey. So really look out for that. Some people may be receiving those communications or making those connections that are really paving that way for the future abundance. Mars is moving out of a sextile to Juno this week, but still within 5 degrees or so. So we're still feeling that energy. And this is only increasing our desire to take action where matters of the heart and commitment are concerned. The sun is going to be moving into a square with Saturn all week, exact on the 30th. And so this is one of the more intense and sobering energies that we are going to be experiencing throughout the week, but there's a huge potential for growth where this is concerned. This aspect does, being Saturn, bring that level of seriousness to our being. We may have issues surrounding our self-confidence and our capabilities brought to the forefront, as well as finding ourselves being overly practical to the point of pessimism at times. We want to use this energy to look at where it is that we're putting limits on ourselves or our capabilities. And if we find ourselves assuming a glass half full mentality, why is that? That's the key always, right? Trying to understand why. Where does that come from? What's underneath that? What is creating that? Where does this stem from, right? We may feel overwhelmed with responsibility, or we may be forced to take a look at where it is that we could step up more in terms of responsibility. Where we have been a bit too lax or laissez-faire in some area of our lives. We will especially be confronting the ways that we are perceived by and the way our actions affect others, with both Libra and Aquarius energies at play here. Some of the questions to ask where this aspect is concerned are, what is my responsibility to myself? What is my responsibility to others? What is my responsibility to the collective as a whole? And of course, as we said, other questions that we're going to want to ask ourselves, if we feel this energy of inferiority coming out, this energy of self-doubt, if we feel that self-critic, right, kicking into high gear, we want to be asking ourselves questions around that as well, right? Like, what are the belief systems under that are facilitating that self-critic, right? How can we shift that? How can we alchemize those energies? Overall, there's, like we said, though, there's a lot of inspiration and guidance coming through this week around those ways that we can increase our prosperity and move forward in the direction of our Dharma. If we can take practical action around these ideas and not get too caught up in the Sun square Saturn energy and any feelings of lack or insecurity, there is great progress to be made. Let's see. We talked about everything else, I think. We are building towards the 1111 gateway, which opens on 111 and goes through 1111. And we are going to talk about that. I'm getting ready to do my video with Pete on Empath Uprising about the 1111 portal. And I'm getting ready to do the 1111 portal for this channel as well. I do plan to have that out before the 1st of November, because we have been guided to meditate every single day from 111 through 1111 and really call in more of that light, because there's such powerful light and such powerful energy that is being generated, and our ability to manifest and to connect with one another is so heightened that it's just incredibly important that we meditate throughout this portal and call in more of that light every single day, call in more of our dreams and our visions for what it is that we are here creating together. So that will be out before the 1st of November. I promise you guys. But just throwing out the disclaimer there. But we're really building up in that energy. And so because 1111 is, among many things, a manifestation gateway, our thoughts and absolutely everything that goes into manifesting, right? Our thoughts, our words, our vibration, it is becoming that much more powerful and magnetic. So we really want to be using that energy to our advantage. All right. So now we're going to go with the day by day. On the 26th, we have the moon in Cancer, and the moon is squaring Mercury in Chiron with a sextile to Uranus. And so with this energy, when we're looking at the moon in Cancer, right, our needs and our security are of primary importance. We're very in touch with our emotions, and we can be very sensitive. We may need to retreat and recharge during this energy with the moon and Cancer. Home and family are of paramount importance to us when we're working with these Cancer energies. And with the moon squaring Mercury, these matters are probably going to be on our minds, and we may find some anxiety resulting, and our moods being a little extra restless. But we know that there is, of course, a lot of beautiful, powerful psychic and intuitive energy when we have the moon in Cancer, or any of the water signs, really, right? So we can capitalize on that and really work with our powers of intuition. Stability and security in our relationships is going to be a big factor, as well as our desire to move forward and be independent. And the places where this may be perceived to challenge our sense of stability and security. Because remember, with this Uranus energy, with this Chiron and Aries energy, that's very much about that sense of independence, that sense of self, right? Our ability to move forward towards our desires, towards the things that matters, and our ability and our desire to be in our authenticity, in our truth. But yeah, anywhere where we're gonna feel that that push-pull, right? Anywhere where our ability to do so, or taking those actions, taking those risks, is perceived to threaten that sense of stability and security. The best thing to do is what Cancer does best: go inside. Tap into the deep well of our intuition for guidance and comfort. Feel out situations, and then look for the most balanced and fair or highest outcome for all involved. Look at where we're being asked to grow when it comes to our independence, and what areas of our lives are calling for courage. What are the fears surrounding that? When can we first remember this fear presenting itself? What was going on then? Cancer energy takes us back to our childhood. Remember those childhood wounds. And so that's always going to be a great place for us to look when it comes to the insights, when we're looking for those insights. Uranus is giving us that extra boost to see things from a new and higher perspective, and to explore uncharted territory in order to grow and thrive. On the 27th, we have Mercury conjunct the part of fortune by 4 degrees. And remember, this is an area in the chart that is generated that represents where we find our greatest fulfillment. So with this conjunction to Mercury, this is all about speaking our needs, right? If we speak up and we ask for what we need, we are very likely to get it during this energy. This is also where those inspired ideas are coming through again, that are going to bring us more deeply into our fulfillment and the expression of that fulfillment in this lifetime. This is also where we really want to be focusing on that power of using our words and our thoughts to create our reality. Saturn will be trine the part of fortune, which is actually really beneficial, because this is really showing us that our efforts and dedication will be rewarded. If we put in the effort with a pure desire and a pure heart, we can receive some great rewards. Because remember, people get down on Saturn a lot, right? Because Saturn represents all the stuff that we don't find that fun in life. However, when we commit ourselves, when we really hone our gifts and our skills, when we put things into practice, right? When we don't give up and we continue to work hard, we can find the greatest rewards wherever we find Saturn located in our charts. Wherever these Saturnian energies are present, there is incredible reward and fulfillment, but we have to work for it, right? And so if we work for it, we can't, our achievement can be exponential during this time. We also, on the 27th, have a Grand Cross going on. And we've talked about the energy of the Grand Cross. This is the most intense aspect that can occur in a chart. We have essentially 2 T-squares. We got this big ball of energy going on here that is extremely tense, right? It's really pushing us to take action. It's making us so uncomfortable that we absolutely have to act. So it instills a great amount of growth. People who have grand crosses in their charts tend to be some of the most successful people, because there's no way to I hate the word lazy necessarily, but we can't rest on our laurels when we have this energy present. It's just not possible to do. T-squares and grand crosses, if you have those in your natal chart, there's a lot of energy there pushing you towards greatness. And we see that in a lot of people that we would consider great, right? So this grand cross is between the moon, Mars, Pluto, and Eris. And yes, this is going to sound familiar because we have had that T-square between Pluto, Eris, and whoever else was wanting to get involved. We had Mercury completing this T-square for a while, then Mercury went retrograde, and we had Mars move in. And now Mars is beginning to move away as he moves towards Scorpio, where he will enter at the end of the week. But Mercury is moving back toward this T-square again after coming out of that retrograde, and will actually end its shadow period as it connects with this T-square again, because that's where its retrograde began. So we've been feeling these energies, we've been talking about these energies, and we're going to talk about these energies again because the moon moving back in here is activating this T-square all over again. We have two axes that are active during this T-square. We have the Libra-Aries axis, and we have the Cancer and Capricorn axis. So this energy is calling us to step into our empowerment and to claim our sovereignty while wielding that power with integrity and with justice for all. It is also asking us to balance and heal our masculine and feminine energies, our relationship to these energies, and also our relationship to authority. Remember, Pluto in Capricorn represents authority. It calls into question who or what has authority over you, right? And for a truly sovereign being, the answer to that question is, I have authority over me, myself and myself alone. And yes, we understand, some would say also God, also spirit, right? Yes, but we are God, we are spirit. When we are divinely connected, right? When we are merged with our divine self, with our higher will, then all of that takes care of itself, right? And it is us. We get to make those choices. We get to make those decisions, right? We are that authority. That is another example of what sovereignty means. So really coming to understand that and to see where it is that we are allowing outside forces to have authority over our lives still, and why that is. Let's see here. This is also an energy that calls us to understand how it is that we parent ourselves. Remember, because that's that Cancer air, or that Capricorn Cancer axis there. It is the axis of the masculine and the feminine. It's also the axis of the mother and the father, and all of those energies, and where it is that we learn to parent and reparent ourselves. So the questions that we can ask ourselves: do we know when to push and when to rest? Do we know when to be defiant and when to be diplomatic? Do we know how to balance achievement and self-care? Do we know when to take a stand and when to stand down? Right? Are these concepts that we understand? And how do we navigate these areas? What makes this Grand Cross really interesting is the fact that Neptune, who has been sextile Pluto since 1948, and this Neptune-Pluto sextile will continue until 2029. So it's a very long, these are both very slow-moving outer planets. So this energy has been present and will be present for quite some time. So it's really working on us. And we've talked about this Neptune sextile Pluto energy before, right? This is huge soul growth and evolution. This is us really understanding the psyche, understanding the shadow, and how that plays into the development of the consciousness and our spiritual power, our spiritual growth, right? So this Neptune-Pluto energy is really big, really potent, really powerful, and really intense. So that's been going on for a while. But we also have Neptune trine the moon during this day. And so aspecting this Grand Cross from that position as well. So this is adding a deeper spiritual layer to things, really calling us to integrate these energies at a soul level that we've been talking about here. It's also calling us to ask, what are the deeper spiritual applications and implications at play here? How can we empower the soul in all dimensions and all experiences of reality? What impact does what is happening now have on creation at large? And what role are we playing in that, both individually and collectively? These energies of stepping into our power, stepping into our sovereignty, using our voice, right? Taking that action to combat injustice. These are big, big energies with huge applications in the universe at large. So we're really seeing and understanding that, and we're really integrating this at a soul level more and more deeply every time this T-square is activated, and sometimes becomes bigger and becomes the Grand Cross, becomes these magnificent energies, if you will. So a lot going on the 27th. And then on the 28th, we have the part of fortune now moving to 4 degrees from Mars. So it's kind of moving through here and activating these planets, right? So as it activates Mars, this is an energy that tells us that our inspired actions will lead us to fulfillment, especially today. So really acting upon that inspiration today. And especially when we align those actions with what is in the highest good of all. Because remember, these energies, Mars and the part of fortune, are conjunct in the sign of Libra. And so that's that balancing energy. That's that energy of justice, of fairness, of equality. We also today have Pallas conjunct the money aspect. And so this is an aspect that is generated in your chart through a means that is way too complicated for us to get into on here right now. But that signifies where prosperity and money can be found for you and how it can be found in your chart. So the part of fortune represents this to a point, but it represents fulfillment in general. So that doesn't just have to do with money. It's much more expansive. The money point just has to do with money. All right. And so this is conjunct Pallas, which, remember, is that energy that helps us to connect the dots, helps us to strategize and see things from that higher perspective, that higher view. So this is where we can expect a lot of that intuition and inspiration to continue to pour in around what it is that we can do to align ourselves with our greatest prosperity currently. Those ways and means help starting to reveal themselves today. And the money aspect is also trine the sun in sextile Uranus, which really just increases and magnifies this energy, and also indicates that the most inventive and creative ideas are likely to yield the greatest results. And with this energy of Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, also that energy of collaboration I was feeling as well. So where it is that we're inspired to reach out and collaborate with other people to combine our energies into an even more potent energy, right? Also today, we have the moon moving into Leo and squaring the sun, which is now 1 degree away from its square to Saturn. And we talked about that sun square Saturn energy at the beginning of this video. And we're going to get into it a little more on the day that exacts. But we've been talking about all the possibilities with this sun square Saturn energy. So the moon in Leo squaring the sun, which is being squared by Saturn. So we've got that fun action going on, right? And so with the moon squaring the sun and Saturn squaring as well as Saturn, we've got that loose T-square going on again. We got that T-square action again that we were talking about. So with this moon in Leo, we're going to want to be validated and appreciated. And we're going to want to be the star of the show. We also have a deep need to love and be loved and to express ourselves creatively when the moon is in the sign of Leo. It's also a highly social sign for the moon to be in. So with this sun square Saturn energy, we may be extra sensitive to criticism today, especially with that moon in Leo, right? Because Leo can be very sensitive to criticism as well. So we also may have a tendency to put our needs above others today, or vice versa. Perhaps we're feeling as though we need to put others' needs above our own. It's going to be different for different people. So we want to be really careful with people pleasing today, but we also want to be loving and gentle with others as well as ourselves, because like we said, people are going to be feeling possibly a little bit more sensitive. So if tension does ensue, it's important to make sure that everyone involved in whatever tense situations may evolve, that everyone is seen and understood as best they can be, right? Everybody is validated and appreciated for what it is that they're thinking, what it is that they're feeling, what it is that they're bringing to the table. let's see, on the 29th now, we have that Sun square Saturn exacting. But what's interesting is when this Sun square Saturn energy exacts, we also have the Sun now conjunct the part of fortune. So this is a really beautiful, beneficial, lucky energy that's probably going to have us feeling pretty good. So it's going to be an interesting energy where it's like that Sun square Saturn energy is maybe trying to pull us into that energy of self-doubt and self-criticism and that pessimism. But with the part of fortune, it's just enhancing that energy of the Sun and those blessings and that brightness, right? So we may feel a little tug of war between those energies, or really I think we get to make a choice of which one do we want to experience, right? And it's also showing us that with this part of fortune conjunct the Sun in this exact square to Saturn, if we delve into the energies and the lessons of this Sun square Saturn energy, we can find a great amount of personal growth and fulfillment that is really going to help us as we move forward in our lives. So we want to ask ourselves those questions we discussed in the intro. Heal whatever is coming up, right? Bring healing to that. Step into the energy of knowing that we are powerful, confident, and capable, knowing that we can accomplish great things and find a very deep sense of fulfillment in our lives. We want to work on internalizing the knowledge that our lessons are blessings, right? And that there is a gift in everything. We really want to internalize that. We really want to feel that. We want to feel that energy of knowing and appreciating our challenges as opportunities, right? Our lessons as blessings and gifts. And really understanding that if we learned and if we grew from a situation, then even if we perceive ourselves as having failed, if there is a wisdom that was attained, if there is growth, if there's a greater depth and breadth of experience, then that failure was actually a success. These are the ways that we want to be working with alchemizing these energies of self-doubt, alchemizing this voice of the self-critic when that self-critic starts to pop up today. We also have the moon still in Leo opposing Jupiter and squaring Uranus today, with trines to Chiron in the south node and a sextile to the north node. So a lot more intense growth today that is possible for us. With this energy and with the south node involved here, which works with past energy, right? What I'm really feeling is old behaviors may be enticed by the energies of Jupiter and Uranus in these challenging positions, especially where overindulgence and extravagance, where rebellious actions with no sense of true purpose and procrastination are concerned. But it could be a whole gamut of different things. But we are being given that opportunity to hear those stirrings within us and to not act on them, but instead to choose behaviors that honor who we are now and express this, right? Not who we were, who we are now. How do we honor that? How do we act out of that place of self-knowledge and also that place of self-love and acceptance? And this self-love and acceptance energy that we are seeking to attain and tap into today is really being boosted by the fact that we also have the Venus and Jupiter sextile going exact today. But this also does reinforce that possibility of self-gratification. So we want to find that balance here, right? We want to find that balance, and we want to tap into the beneficial energies, and we want to not fall prey to the less beneficial energies here. But this can give us the boost we need to make the most productive use of all of the potent and potentially challenging energies of the day. On the 30th, Venus and Juno's conjunction becomes exact. And with this exact conjunction, like we talked about in the summary of the week's energy, it is in a bisextile with Jupiter and Mercury. So this energy gives a huge boost when it comes to romance and partnership and our ability to communicate what we feel and what we need and want. Commitment is very likely for many, like we talked about, a deeper level of community, reaching out to people that have been on our minds, especially with the Mars entering Scorpio today as well, which we're about to talk about. So we're really going to be wanting to reach out. We're really going to be wanting to communicate. We're going to be wanting to commit on a deeper level where it is that we feel that commitment is warranted. But like we said earlier, don't promise things you can't deliver. Right, with this Jupiter energy, with this Venus energy, with all of this beautiful energy here, this Juno energy, we may have good intentions. Other people may have good intentions. But What do they say about the road to hell, right? So we want to just be aware of that. We don't want to go into this emotionally closed off. We want to keep our hearts open to whatever transpires, right? And really check with the resonance of how it feels within us. But we just want to be aware of this energy and maybe notice, maybe hold off a little bit on making those commitments if they don't feel 100% right, or if you have the inkling that somebody or something may not be able to come through and deliver on their end, right? It's like, don't necessarily not jump into things that you feel called to jump into, but just know that it may not necessarily go the way that it's being projected right now, right? There may be more speed bumps possibly than what's coming up, and there may be more stuff that needs to be worked through as you continue to move on and as we move out of this energy again, I guess, is sort of a better way to put that. Mars is entering Scorpio today. And so, like we said, this only increases that likelihood of people going after what they desire, what it is that they want, because we're going to be really drawn to take action around the things that we want. Mars is the former ruler of Scorpio, and in this sign, as we know, he is fierce, passionate, determined, and deadly when crossed. And there will be a video on Mars and Scorpio that will be coming out at some point this week where we go deeper into these energies. But it is an intense placement for Mars. It is really activating our passions, our desires, our needs, our wants, and like we said, our likelihood of going after those things. And what Scorpio is a fixed sign. So once it gets its sights set on something, that trajectory is set, much like its counterpart, Taurus. So we really, we're getting, it's another level, right, where that commitment, we're really knowing and understanding what it is that we desire and making that commitment to move forward on it. This is also, Mars and Scorpio is a highly sexual energy. So we may feel those feelings getting stirred up. We may feel those desires getting stirred up. And so we want to work with and understand, how do I most constructively use all of this potent and powerful sexual energy that is coming through? How do I express that in a way that's in alignment with me? All right, what else do we have here? Yeah, so the moon is going to be in Leo for most of the day on the 30th. However, he will be transitioning into Virgo in the evening time. And the moon is going to be in a sextile to this Mars, now in the sign of Scorpio, as well as still lightly opposing Jupiter. And the moon's also going to be conjunct to the vertex, which we talked about a little bit. This is the point of fate in a chart. So very interesting energies. Our actions are going to have a very fated quality today. This is that energy I was picking up on that I talked about at the beginning of the reading, that feels like an energy where some people may meet their soulmates or be inspired to take the actions that are going to bring their soulmates in. Soulmates, twin flames, whatever words you want to use, divine partners. There's so many different labels that we use around these things. But whatever you want to call it, these energies, we're going to be possibly meeting these people or being inspired to take the actions that bring us into alignment vibrationally with them. We may also be meeting them in the astral planes. We may have these soulmates of all these varying different kinds, right? Drawn to us and connecting with us more deeply on the astral planes as well. Let's see what else here. We are likely to act on our emotions and our whims today, much like yesterday in the energies that we talked about. But if we respond to our emotions and figure out what they are pointing to or trying to teach us, and act from that place of knowing along with our intuition, we can be guided to make some very aligned choices and decisions today. We may also have, I already talked about that. Yeah, it gets a little weird, like trying to read from this, but also I'm not doing the best job of it. But whatever, I know you guys love and appreciate however it's done, however the information gets out. Let's see. In addition to these visions or dreams possibly about our soulmates that are coming in, we may also have dreams or visions or inspirations about our future and our dharma or life path. As the moon shifts into Virgo later this evening, we will be able to take the deep passion stirred by the moon in Leo, combined with the energy of Mars and Scorpio, and create a plan of action around them that's a bit more thought out and likely to be more successful. So I would absolutely recommend, if you can, waiting until the moon shifts on the night of the 30th to make any of those decisions or put any of those plans into action, because that Virgo energy is really going to assist with the application aspect. All right, so let's get some liquid crystal oracle cards here. Clear. What crystals want to work with us this week and assist us as we navigate these energies? What crystals want to work with us for this week of the 26th through the 30th of October? All right. Oh, and this is interesting because I think this came out in a reading the other week. Dioptase, the healing heart. Take in the light language on that card for a moment. Let that resonate. Let that activate what it wants to activate within you. This light language holds the frequency of this crystal. And the light language, it was pointed out to me, isn't just here in this drawing. It's in this whole art. All of it carries that vibration of dioptase. And I will hold it up again after I get the reading out here. And this says, feel my touch. Let it open the emerald green stairs into your heart. And together let us ascend them slowly. For today, there is only completion and healing. I ask you now to look back in anger, resentment, and judgment no more. For I have come to lovingly guide you in the art of focused manifestation, of which your life is the result. Remember, the heart is pure beyond the veil of self-judgment, and together we will lift it. So, through your own emerald eyes, you will see the perfection that you are. Feel the emerald shower of my compassion surround you and let it detach you into freedom. I hold the pure healing intent of the green ray at your disposal, anchored into the black of the earth. In my presence, the lightning flash of emerald light has healed the scars of the heart and now lives in you. Allow me to ground the basis of love, physical and unconditional. Let them find their home within you, completing the cycle of the ages in the now and anchoring permanently in the hearts of all you touch, the blessing of the Infinite One. And that is a message from the Master Crystal Deva associated with Dioptase, Mademoiselle. Let's see. So Dioptase is relatively rare and quite expensive. And so if you want to work with it, maybe pause on this image of it and work with the energies through this if it's something that you can't get on your own. This deck, by the way, the Liquid Crystal Oracle, you can order it. You can use these cards in healings because they are charged with that energy as well. So that's also a much less expensive way to work with the energy of Dioptase. Let's see. Yes, because it is deep emerald green, it is sometimes confused with emerald. The key difference between the two is found in their color ray structure. Emerald being composed principally of the green and clear rays, and Dioptase the green and black. This, of course, makes Dioptase more opaque and allows it the ability to anchor the green healing ray deeper into physicality. This is of great significance in the green aspect of the heart chakra and allows Dioptase to be the most potent stone for healing the heart. No mineral on earth can go as deeply into the heart energies physically and create healing. Dioptase's principal lesson is that of the open heart. It teaches the importance of compassion, non-attachment, and non-judgment. It is perfect for healing relationships where there is a lack of understanding and poor communication, but it comes into its own after relationships, where it acts as an unconditional light, sealing the halves of a broken heart together in a flash of green lightning. Yeah, and this did come out last week too, so still helping us to heal those heart energies, those relationship energies, as we move into a week that is extremely beneficial for relationships. And remember, if you are not in a relationship, this is the energy that is preparing you to be ready for that divine partner. And if you are, it's time for that partnership to enter a new level. And for some people, like we said, it's still those choices that are being made around leaving those relationships that are no longer serving. And so this crystal and this energy can help with all of that. It's also a wonderful crystal for healers that have done too much and allowed themselves to become burnt out, thus losing the healer identity. And with the healer identity, I thought this was interesting. To me, it felt like the healer identity is when you identify and see yourself as a healer. So some of us have gotten so burnt out that we've forgotten that, or we no longer identify as that because it's just too draining. So this helps to reignite. It's a heal the healer stone, much like, pre-night, I believe it is also a heal the healer stone. One that every healer should have in their arsenal, if you will. So this crystal balances sensitivity and self-judgment and reignites the healer for the good of all, including the self, often with new skills, including the self, all right? So important there. Let's see. Dioptase can be coupled up with petrified wood and double terminated quartz crystals to powerfully remember past lifetimes. And remember, as we read what the crystal does, this is also what we're working through that it's helping us with, right? Let's see. It's also very healing for headaches and migraines, shock and emergency situations. And so if you are experiencing ascension symptoms and you're getting a lot of headaches, this crystal can be helpful for that as well. Let's see. In Atlantean times, Dioptase was known as the Earth Emerald and was used to unlock the heart, reveal and train one in their true healing gifts, something that is still able to do today when we are ready. In Atlantis, Dioptase was a crystal of the 11th city, Shambhala, and was only worked with directly by high priests and priestesses of that city. Dioptase is one of the many crystals that in Atlantean times were usually only worked with in trinities, specialized sets of 3 stones that complemented each other in their healing action. Its healing ability was greatly respected and very well known. The action of Dioptase at its highest spiritual level is known as the process of resurrection or rebirth, but it can only do this after the release or death of something. All right, let's see. In addition to migraines and headaches, it's great in treatment apparently for HIV and AIDS. So that's really interesting. And so this is the healing journey associated with Dioptase. On this day, the heart will be healed. Wherever Dioptase goes, broken hearts are healed and carried into understanding. The presence of this crystal for you indicates that some of the many lessons of love are ready to be embraced. Compassion, patience, non-judgment, listening, truthfulness, non-attachment, equality, and respect are all good starting points. Dioptase has come to hold the heart open. She indicates a new relationship or path of love. But remember, for new things to occur, one must be prepared to look forward, take action, and free attachments and expectations. Interesting. Dioptase can also be present when you have allowed others to cloud your judgment. Or can also present when you have allowed others to cloud your judgment. So sit quietly alone and make your decisions. This crystal's presence tells you you have the answers, right? You are the authority. The above-mentioned masters may be utilized in the frequency of Dioptase to communicate with you. Place this card on your heart and listen, or just hold the intention as you place your hands on your heart and listen. And the masters mentioned were Kuan Yin, Isis, Jesus, Akhenaten, the Lady Tara, and Archangel Mary. They're all connected with the Dioptase frequency. And the affirmation for Dioptase is, I am all loving, my heart is pure. And so that was very clear, the way that card popped out. I feel like that's the angel of work, that's the crystal that we're working with. But we do on the bottom of the deck have Angelite, which helps to bring that sense of peace and calm. So that's another stone that can be worked with this week. And Citrine, which brings abundance. So I'm definitely feeling that energy as well. Abundance and positivity. Citrine is just such a joyful stone. So possibly working with that as well. And so now we're going to get a blessing. What is our blessing for the week ahead? I think this is just a fun way to end readings sometimes with a blessing card. Clear. What is our blessing? Blessing for the week ahead. Give us a blessing for the week ahead. Interesting. So we have a blessing for good men and fathers coming out. And we did talk about, I believe, with one of the aspects that was mentioned there, this healing, with the Grand Cross that we talked about. That healing of the masculine and feminine energies, the balancing of the masculine and feminine energies, and our relationship to them, and the reparenting, right? And all of that childhood energy that may be stirred up with that Cancer, Moon and Cancer energy that we're going to be experiencing. So for some people, there may be deep healing around their masculine energy, their relationship to masculine energy. And just masculines in general having this ability to step up. So let's read what this blessing says, because this is an interesting one. A blessing for the men, the good men, who do the essential work for themselves, for each other, for their families, and for their communities. We need good men, loving fathers, fully flowered in their masculinity. May you be blessed with the healing of any wounds you hold and hide within. May you allow yourself to be vulnerable and tender in the care of the young. May you be blessed with the strength of your own untainted power and open up to the great abilities that lie within you, beneath the muscle and sinew and grit and stoic face you show the world. May you be blessed and be open-hearted in love, intelligent in your alliances, honorable in your agreements, and courageous when you must stand and resist the challenges that may come to you. And this is for everyone's inner masculine as well, regardless of what you identify with as a gender. Okay, so this is applicable for everybody. May you receive the blessings of opening yourself to your own immense internal beauties, refusing to identify only with the shadow which swallows so many good men. Instead, when you meet the darkness within, let it be understood, acknowledged and honored, healed and transformed, and thus may you turn away from stereotypes and become your true self. May all men be blessed as they do this sacred work. To every man, may you be a brother, and with every honorable act of care and compassion and protection and nurture, may you be most blessed. For you are precious to all, and you father us all. It is not through the bonds of biology, but through the strands of connection, for all men are our brothers. May you show the next men how to father themselves, and thus continue the evolution of our humanity. To all men who have literally had the blessing of children, may your nurture be blessed. To all men who raise and rear other men's children, may you be most blessed. To the good men and the good fathers for showing the many possibilities of how a man can be good, in a very deep, real way, offering us all a well of wisdom from which to drink, a fire of protection and love by which to warm oneself, and the endless love of the sea in which we are reborn. May your gifts to the world return to you threefold. Blessed be. So I love that. That's really, really beautiful. This energy of our masculine healing, right? And really stepping into their energy, right? I love the untainted power, right? Because that's where that toxic masculinity comes in. The way that masculine energy has been trained, and the way that we are untraining that aspect of ourselves to really see itself as divine, and to step into our power with integrity, with purpose, right? With a little bit of that gentleness from the feminine, but with that steadfast authority of the masculine. So that's just really, really beautiful, and so incredibly powerful and important, right? Our masculine and our feminine energies play different roles, and they are both incredibly important to our growth and our ability to express ourselves, to create, to experience ourselves in the world. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have a blessing to find the truth, which is interesting. So for anybody who's seeking truth, right, that there's a blessing coming through to you for that as well this week. Deeper and deeper truths always revealed, right, with that Scorpio energy. Clear. That's a lot of that energy of truth coming through, right? Those truths within ourselves, those outer truths as well, and really coming to know and discern truth on a deeper level. All right, I love you guys. I appreciate you. If you like this video, hit that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how this reading resonated for you, how you guys are feeling, what you're thinking. I love you. I appreciate you, and I love connecting with you. Let's see what else. There are links down below if this channel is assisting you and you feel so moved to donate. It is always appreciated, and there are links down below. My email is also down below. If you want to do any one-on-one work with me, please shoot me an email and we can set something up. I do all kinds of different stuff that can really assist in this ascension process in so many different ways. So please, please, please reach out to me if you feel called and drawn to do so. I think that's it. I think that's everything for now. So without further ado, have a beautiful week.